e.l.f. has a new addition to their Camo liquid line, which are these new bronzer and contours, which is a little bit confusing. We'll get into that. But if you were curious about whether these are fair skin friendly, whether you actually need them in your collection, this review is going to be great for you today. Also, if you're wondering what the heck is the difference between these new products and the Halo Wand contours, we'll be going over swatches and formula comparisons as well. Everything you need to know to make a good buying decision. But thank you for tuning in. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, let's go ahead and hop into the new e.l.f. Camo liquid bronzer and contours. These are the newest addition to their liquid camo line. They also have the liquid camo blushes, and I'm also going to be comparing it to the contour wand in terms of shade and formula, in case you were curious what the difference is and which one might suit you better. So it is described as a high pigment liquid bronzer and contour hybrid for creating a long-lasting sun-kissed and sculpted look with a natural finish. High pigment liquid bronzer, lightweight, blendable formula, natural looking finish, rounded, grooved applicators, easy to use, and it says it pairs well with their bronzer and contour brush. And I have the first two lightest shades. We have one fair and then two fair light, and these are $7 on the e.l.f. website. I really like shopping on e.l.f.'s website or their app because of their rewards program. They give you really good coupons. Like I get $10 off all the time. If you do like a lot of their products, it might be something to consider. I'll have it linked below. But anyway, let's go ahead and get swatching. Let's go ahead and open up the first lightest shade, which looks like it has more cool undertones. So this has the same packaging as the liquid camo blush if you've ever tried it. So when you take it out, it does collect quite a lot of product on the tip of the applicator. And then for swatches, this is a pigmented formula. I think this is a beautiful neutral contour shade. It's definitely not a super cool tone contour. Maybe I'll swatch some of my other favorite contours as well. This one just has a nice like neutral, more stone color to it. So I think this would be a really nice flattering one for maybe more cool tones. This one seems to have a bit more warmth, which is too fair light. So here is the second shade compared to the first one. It definitely looks like a bit warmer. Smell wise, by the way, they don't really have any scent to them. That's interesting. It's definitely a lot warmer, especially when we're looking at it compared to that first shade. I would say this would be like if you want it to be a bronzer, and then that first shade is if you want it to be more like a contour, or if you feel like bronzers pull really warm on you. We're going to try them on both today, and we'll see if this one pulls too orange. Does happen to me quite frequently, but we will see. Additionally, for comparison, here we have the e.l.f. Halo Glow Beauty Wand, the contour one. This is the shade Fair Light. So this is the swatch over here. I'm definitely seeing a little bit more like green cool tones almost in this one compared to this one. This one almost has like a slight rosiness, like more neutral vibe. This one, at least to my eye, is pulling the coolest. This one is also more sheer, so I tried to build it up to sort of match the pigment. Let me just blend them out a little bit on my hand for a little bit of a better comparison. Yeah, I would still say that this one has the most like cool undertones. This one almost has that rosiness, and then this one we're not even talking about compared to the other two because it is way warmer, as you can tell. Let me swatch this Sephora contour because it's a really cool tone color in case you were curious. This is a powder. It's the Sephora collection contour in the lightest shade over here. So this is a very true cool tone in comparison to these other e.l.f. contour shades. Also just grabbed out my Fenty cream contour because I'm just really having a good swatch time here. This one's a really cool tone contour as well. So here is the Fenty one. This one also seems to be the darkest. At least the e.l.f. ones are a bit lighter. But yeah, I would say that the e.l.f. ones do have sort of the most warmth if you are comparing them to these really cool toned contour products that I really like. But let's go ahead and try these on. So let's go ahead and start on the left side of my face. I'm going to start with the cooler toned, which is the lightest shade Fair. Now these are really pigmented if they are anything like the camo blushes. So I know definitely for my skin I'm going to be very gingerly with this. Let's just start on the cheekbones with one dot and see how far that gets us. Probably gonna go quite a long way. Yeah, these products are so pigmented, you really have to be careful with them if you're as fair as me, which could be a pro and a con. If you feel like you lean towards over applying products a lot, it might not be the best formula, which is why I like this one because it's a bit more sheer. But the pro could be this would last you forever because you only need a dot. So let's go ahead and do a dot on the forehead. I think it looks really nice and natural so far. One thing that I'm just a little bit confused about is it's called a bronzer and contour hybrid, but bronzer is meant to warm your skin and contour is supposed to mimic a shadow. So unless you have warm tone skin, those two products usually aren't within the same like tones, you know what I'm saying? Maybe they meant that depending on what shade you get, because this one is way more like a bronzer shade and this one is definitely more contour-esque. But let me know what you think of that in the description below. Let me go ahead and do 3 little dots on the jawline. I'm gonna blend that out. I'm using a rose ink brush, by the way. I know my skin is very colorless right now. I still have to do the rest of my makeup, so stay tuned for like the final look. But I'm also gonna take a little bit on my nose. I usually like to blend this out with my finger a little bit and then work it in. I think this is really pretty. The color looks natural and gorgeous, but as you saw, I had to use very, very little product because if I use more, it would probably be too pigmented on my skin, but the way it is now, I feel like I'm getting a nice shadow without it overwhelming my coloring. Let's move on to this warmer shade, which I'm a little bit like scared of. Hopefully it won't pull too warm. Let's go ahead and do just the same thing. I'm gonna do 1 dot here, and I'm using the same brush, by the way, just a clean one. Well, not that clean, but at least a different one. I need to wash my brushes. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and blend this side in. Okay, that's honestly not too bad. Let the redness in my skin settle a little bit before we analyze the color. Do a dot more here. That was kind of a lot. So here are the side-by-side differences. Did I just whistle? If I did, sorry. I feel like this honestly isn't too bad looking. It didn't pull too orange. I could see if I used a lot that it would pull orange on me. But I kind of just seeing the difference of like this is a contour shade, so it's giving me more sculpting, and this just added a little bit of warmth to my skin. So depending on what you wanted to go for, I think they're both nice in the moderation of use like I did for fair skin. Obviously, if you're darker, you don't have to be as gingerly with these, but you know me, it just gets crazy quickly. And I feel like just for testing sakes, let's do a dot more just on both of the cheekbones, and we'll see how they build up. I don't have powder on, by the way. This is just on my About Face foundation. There's a hair on that. So let's switch over to the warmer side. So there's the more built up versions. I almost feel like this bronzer has a slight rosiness to it almost. Like, it's definitely not the worst bronzer I've tried, especially at the drugstore if you use it in light moderation. I'm pulling towards this cooler tone side just because I like the tone and the definition that it's giving me, but both of them are really pretty. I would love to know which one you feel like might be better for you at this point in the video. Yeah, I'm feeling this one, but I can see how this one will work if you want a bronzier shade. And let's go ahead and see how they set down. I'm gonna use my FLORASIS Flawless Jade powder. This is the lavender shade, which has a very slight hint of lavender in it. And we're just gonna set down both sides of the face evenly. Finish wise, by the way, these are both really beautiful skin finishes. They don't really dry too matte or dry too quickly, so you do have the time to work with them. And then up close, they kind of just look like skin, which is really a good pro with liquid products. I think these liquid products are so great if you have textured skin. If creams tend to sit a little bit too heavy, these can just really smooth out texture and not really enhance texture and sit really nicely on the skin. They're also pretty dang long lasting. I have not worn these for a full day yet, but I have worn the blushes. If they're anything like that, they will be. I will go ahead and leave an update in the description below if like anything changes or if they do not wear well. But let's go ahead. I feel like I really need some blush. I'm gonna use my Fenty Beauty Wada Brat shade of their Suede blush today. I feel like it's just perfect for the vibe that I have going on. It's super shimmery, but I think it'll be really pretty. I would use one of the e.l.f. Camo liquid blushes, by the way. I just don't have a shade that I like. They did just release new shades, including a lilac shade I've been meaning to pick up, so I will for sure have to try that because they were nice formulas. I just didn't love the warm tones. And for lips, I'm gonna put on my ColourPop Cool BFF. Someone commented that this is discontinued. I saw that it's sold out on the ColourPop site, but please, please don't let it be so that this is discontinued. I would cry. If anyone else knows like for sure if this is discontinued or not, let me know so I can try to maybe stock up on them, but it's such a shame. I feel like all my favorite lip liners always get discontinued. Why does that happen? Anyway, enough ranting. I'm gonna go ahead and apply this. I'm also thinking I want to go for like a very candy pink lip today, so I'm gonna use the Revlon Primrose Cream Lipstick, which is this very lilac-y light pink. Just dabbed on, so it's not too pigmented. And then I also got this new CoverGirl Clean Fresh Yummy Plumper, new plumping version of their lip colors, and this is Pixie Dust, which has like a purple shift to it. Very me color, I had to pick up. These are super minty, by the way, so hold on, let me apply it. It's gorgeous, by the way. I love the purple shift in it. It's super minty. If you don't like a tingling sensation, if you don't like mint, avoid this, and it can sort of get in your mouth a little bit. I don't mind it though. I kind of think it's fun, and it definitely gives you that very strong, like minty, fresh, plumping sensation. And we have that super shimmery blush on. I don't really feel like I necessarily need highlight, but I'm gonna add a little bit of the FLORASIS. This is their Aqua Glow Lilac Haze highlighter, the perfect lavender shade to just go with the look. I want to at least, yeah, a little bit on my nose. We'll pop some on the cheekbones as well. Okay, so here's the real down low on this new product, and compared to the Halo Glow Beauty Wand, the e.l.f. Camo Liquid Bronzers, for sure they are way more pigmented. I think the shades aren't necessarily as cool toned as this one. They're very pigmented, which is nice because you can use less, but if you tend to use more products or makeup looks really heavy on you, this might not be the easiest to use product, but if you just keep in mind that you have to use like the tiniest amount, it's really nice. And then compared to the Halo Glow Beauty Wand, this is a more sheer formula for sure. It has a way more cool toned look to it. It does have that sponge tip applicator. When you blend this out especially, I feel like this just mimics a shadow a little bit better because it is just a naturally sheer product versus this first shade here. When you put it on your hand, because it's a little bit more pigmented, it just blends out to be more visible, if you know what I'm saying, whereas this blends into the natural tone of your skin. And I'm looking at this through the lens of having fair skin and how products just perform on my skin personally. It's like we're putting like just straight up regular paint on paper because we're so light. So when things are a bit more sheer, it can create a better tone when it lets your skin tone sort of show through, and it can blend in with the surrounding tones a bit better versus these like almost give you a little bit of coverage and cover that up a little bit so it can look a little bit more makeup-y. Hopefully that all makes sense. I would say if you're a similar skin tone to me, you really love cool tones, I still really love this formula because it's more sheer. But if you wanted some different tones, more pigment, something that you can build up, be a little bit more glam, I think these are a really beautiful product too. Honestly, e.l.f. has been like not missing lately. Their products have been amazing, and I think these are a good addition. I would say first shade is by far my favorite. This one is just getting into like, I feel like there's a lot of other shades like this, so I would feel like this first one is a little bit more unique. Also, I wanted to mention on my lids today, I'm not sure if you can tell, just the shimmer topper I have on is another one of their new launches, the Finest Fleck Glitter Eyeshadow. I also did a review on this if you want to see it. I have the shade White Hot on, but that was my full look and review of these new e.l.f. products. I hope you found it helpful and help you decide whether or not this is a product you need in your collection or if it's passable. I would say if you already have this and like it, it's pretty passable, but if you wanted to try a more pigmented formula, they are for sure beautiful and affordable, so love that about e.l.f. Thank you for watching. If you did enjoy this, don't forget to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. I will go ahead and put another video on a screen here, maybe my Finest Fleck review in case you have not seen that yet. I also have a full swatch video of the Glow Reviver lip oils. I got a lot of e.l.f. videos. I'll put them over here so we can keep hanging out. Bye!